How does the most mocked girl in a Rio schoolyard grow up to be the most feared woman on a Tokyo fight card? It sounds like a movie script, doesn't it? But for Gabi Garcia, it's just her life. In the next few minutes, we're going to peel back the layers of a story so wild, so inspiring, it'll make you rethink everything you thought you knew about strength. This isn't just about winning fights, it's about winning redemption. One choke, one challenge, one public battle at a time. Stick around, because her journey flips every script, every stereotype, and everything you think you know about size, steroids, and second chances. It's a raw, unfiltered look at what it truly takes to transform from bullied to badass. Section 1. The Outsider. Imagine being a young teen in Sao Paulo, already standing at a staggering 6'1". That was Gabi Garcia. While she was a natural athlete, spending her early years playing volleyball, team handball, and field hockey, her height made her a target in the schoolyard. Her classmates, cruel as kids often are, they'd block her path, forcing her to contort herself or hide her gym clothes, ensuring she'd spend the entire day smelling of sweat and shame. It was a daily gauntlet, a constant reminder of her difference. She wasn't just tall, she was other. The bullying was relentless, a constant psychological siege. Each morning, the thought of school filled her with dread. Desperate for a change, her family saw an out. After moving to Sao Paulo at age 13, Gabi's uncle, seeing her struggle, pushed her towards a local jiu-jitsu academy. It wasn't just a suggestion, it was an intervention. Gabi, reluctant but desperate, walked into that first session. She was a physically imposing figure even then, but size means little when you're untrained. A 110-pound blue belt, probably half her size, effortlessly choked her unconscious. It was a brutal, humbling introduction. Most people would quit right there, nursing their ego and a sore throat. But Gabi, she showed up the next night, and the next. The mats, initially a place of humiliation, slowly began to transform. They became the only place where her size didn't feel like a burden, but a canvas, where her strength could be channeled, refined. By 16, she wasn't just showing up. She was winning regional tournaments, dominating opponents. Yet even in victory, the whispers followed. She only wins because she's huge. It was a dismissive, reductive judgment, and Gabi understood the translation perfectly. You don't belong here. It was the same old bullying, just with a different soundtrack. But something had shifted. This time she had an answer. Section 2. The Call. At 19, as a purple belt, Gabi entered her first IBJJF World Championship. The big stage, the ultimate proving ground. She fought with everything she had but lost in the semifinals. The defeat was crushing. In the tunnel of the stadium, tears streaming down her face, she felt the weight of every expectation and every failure. In that moment of utter despair, she found a scrap of paper and scrawled a promise that felt almost delusional. 4-time world champion. Everyone who heard about it laughed. Not to her face, of course, but the sentiment was clear. Gabi weighed 200 pounds, a full 40 pounds over the heaviest women's weight class. The math simply didn't add up. How could she become a 4-time champion when she couldn't even make weight for the highest division? Critics and naysayers saw an impassable wall. They saw a woman too big for her own sport, forever an outlier. But Gabi, fueled by defiance, saw an opportunity. She entered the absolute division, the one place with no weight limits, where size was just another variable. This was her domain. At the 2008 Brazilian Nationals, still just a colored belt, she submitted 3 separate black belt opponents. Black belts, the pinnacle of the sport. It was a statement. In that moment, she understood something profound. All the pain from the schoolyard, the taunts about her size, the constant feeling of being too much, it could all be converted. Not into anger, but into pressure, into arm bars, into a relentless power that didn't just win matches, but silenced critics. The girl mocked for being too big was now using that same size as an undeniable, unstoppable force. Section 3. Crossing the threshold. By 2010, Gabi was no longer just an anomaly, she was a force. She entered the black belt division at the Worlds, the highest level of competition. The commentators, still stuck in the old paradigm, famously declared, "She's too big to be technical." They couldn't fathom that someone of her stature could possess the finesse and skill required at that level. They were wrong. She won gold. The next year, 2011, same stage, same result, gold. Again in 2012, she repeated the feat, 3 consecutive world titles at black belt. Her dominance was so absolute, so overwhelming, that rivals started refusing to fight her. Imagine that. Competitors at the highest echelon of a combat sport actively avoiding a match. Tournament brackets would collapse, whole divisions rendered moot, because no one wanted to be the highlight reel victim, the one caught in Gabi's relentless submission game. It was a testament to her skill, but also a frustrating barrier. How do you prove yourself when no one will face you? Gabi's answer was simple. She trained anyway, twice a day, every day, strength and conditioning at 5 a.m., before the sun even thought about rising. Technique drills at 7 p.m., long after most people had finished their workday. This wasn't just about physical prowess, it was about mental fortitude, an unshakable dedication. And she wasn't just a fighter. While dominating the global jiu-jitsu scene, she was also meticulously working towards a college degree in physical education. Friends would joke that she studied like she was defending a thesis every semester. Such was her academic rigor. She approached her education with the same intensity she brought to the mats, proving that her intellect was just as formidable as her physique. She wasn't just breaking bodies, she was breaking stereotypes, demonstrating that a powerful woman could be both a dominant athlete and an educated professional. Section 4. Tests, allies, enemies. Then came 2013 and a gut punch that hit harder than any opponent. A drug test. The results came back positive for clomiphene, a fertility drug. This wasn't a performance-enhancing steroid, but it was on the banned list because it can sometimes be used to restart natural testosterone production after a steroid cycle. The media, ever eager for a scandal, screamed, "Roid cheat." Headlines blared, forums erupted, and the court of public opinion delivered a swift, brutal verdict. The reality, however, was far more nuanced. USADA, the anti-doping agency, conducted a thorough review. They investigated, they questioned, and they ultimately confirmed therapeutic use. Gabi was cleared. But here's the thing about headlines. They rarely print the follow-up. The initial accusation, the public shaming, that stuck. Sponsors, spooked by the controversy, vanished overnight. Memes, cruel and relentless, labeled her She-Hulk, reducing her entire career to a caricature. The whispers about her size, the accusations of unfair advantage, now had a new, seemingly credible fuel. How do you respond to such a public crucifixion? Gabi answered the only way she knew how. She fought. She entered ADCC 2013. It's a Shark Tank, a gauntlet of the world's best grapplers. She walked in carrying the weight of public judgment and proceeded to dominate. 3 matches, 3 submissions, gold. It was a defiant, undeniable statement. Yet, even with gold around her neck, the forums persisted. She's just big, they claimed, refusing to acknowledge the skill, the dedication, the sheer heart it took to overcome such an ordeal and still perform at an elite level. It was a constant battle, not just on the mats, but for her reputation, her legacy. But with each victory, Gabi chipped away at the narrative, proving that her success was about more than just her frame. It was about her fight. Section 5. The Ordeal, MMA Debut. The world of BJJ was hers, but Gabi was always looking for the next challenge. In 2015, Risen Fighting Federation, a major Japanese MMA promotion, signed her for their high-profile New Year's Eve card in Saitama. This was MMA, a different beast entirely. Her opponent weighed in a full 40 pounds lighter, leading commentators to joke it was a freak show. The Japanese fans, known for their respect but also their bluntness, met Gabi's walkout with a chorus of boos. It was a hostile reception, a brutal welcome to the octagon. But Gabi, accustomed to turning adversity into advantage, responded with a flurry of strikes, securing a TKO victory in under 3 minutes. She bowed to the crowd, a gesture of respect, and watched as half cheered, half still jeered. It was a mixed bag, a glimpse into the ongoing struggle for acceptance. Her MMA journey continued, but not without significant turbulence. In 2017, she was scheduled to fight 53-year-old Shinobu Kondori. The fight generated considerable buzz, but it quickly turned into a PR nightmare. Gabi missed weight by a staggering 28 pounds. 28 pounds. It was an amateurish, almost unbelievable mistake for a professional athlete. The Athletic Commission, left with no choice, canceled the bout. Japanese headlines, usually reserved, roasted her. Western podcasts piled on, dissecting her professionalism, questioning her dedication. The She-Hulk memes resurfaced with a vengeance. Gabi later admitted the public outcry, the crushing disappointment, sent her into a spiral. She cried for 2 days straight, convinced her career was over. It was a moment of profound despair, a raw human reaction from someone often perceived as invincible. Her coach, recognizing the severity of the situation, stepped in decisively. He confiscated her phone, cutting her off from the toxic online noise, and locked her in a hotel room. His instructions were clear: treadmill and a gallon of water. For 10 days, she endured an agonizing weight cut, shedding 26 pounds, not for a fight that would actually happen, but to prove to herself and to her coach that she could make weight. The fight with Kondori never materialized, but the discipline, the unwavering commitment to proving herself, that stuck. It was a brutal lesson, but one that forged an even stronger resolve. Section 6, The Reward, 4th ADCC Crown. By 2019, Gabi was back in the ADCC, the no-gi grappling tournament where she'd found so much redemption. But the narrative around her had shifted again. She was heavier, older, and according to many, washed. The critics were ready to write her off, to declare her reign over. She faced 3 opponents who had each, at one point or another, publicly called her one-dimensional, implying she relied solely on size, lacking the technical depth to adapt. But Gabi was never one to back down from a challenge, especially when her pride was on the line. She stepped onto the mats and systematically dismantled her opponents. She submitted 2 of them, showcasing the technical skill her detractors claimed she lacked, and won the final on points, a testament to her strategic prowess and endurance. With that victory, Gabi Garcia etched her name deeper into the history books, becoming the first woman ever to capture 4 ADCC titles: 2011, 2013, 2017, 2019. It was an unprecedented achievement, a definitive answer to every whisper, every doubt. During the medal ceremony, a moment of profound emotion, she embraced her mother. It wasn't just a hug, it was a silent acknowledgement of their shared journey. Her mom, the woman who once carried Gabi's gi in a grocery bag because they couldn't afford a proper gear bag, stood beside her, beaming. That night, Gabi posted a simple yet incredibly powerful caption on social media. "Still here." The post resonated deeply, racking up over 1 million likes, more than any highlight reel of her knockouts or submissions. It wasn't about the violence, it was about the resilience, the unwavering presence in the face of relentless criticism. It was a victory not just for her, but for anyone who had ever been told they weren't enough. Section 7, The Road Back, Personal War. While Gabi was conquering the mats and defying expectations, her personal life was a battlefield. Her marriage to Bruno Almeida, a seemingly private affair, devolved into a harrowing ordeal that would eventually spill into the public eye. Court documents, later released, painted a chilling picture of abuse. She alleged that her ex-husband elbowed her while she slept, a cruel and cowardly act of violence. The abuse wasn't just physical, it was financial and psychological. Gabi discovered he had systematically transferred her hard-earned fight purses into offshore accounts, stealing her financial independence. And when she contemplated leaving, the threats began. He would release private, intimate photos if she dared to walk away. It was a calculated campaign of control and intimidation. Brazil's Maria da Penha law, designed to protect women from domestic violence, granted her a restraining order. But even a legal document couldn't stop him. He violated it not once, but twice, demonstrating a blatant disregard for the law and her safety. Desperate, Gabi turned to the very platforms where she had once engaged in playful trash talk. She live-streamed her bruises, shared screenshots of their volatile exchanges, and meticulously documented the abuse. She hired lawyers, fought for her rights, and eventually vacated the house she had bought with her own bonus money, a painful sacrifice to escape the nightmare. The public reaction, predictably, was mixed. Some were supportive, but others, often those who had never experienced such a situation, asked, "Why didn't she leave sooner?" Gabi, with a raw honesty that cut through the judgment, offered a powerful rebuttal. "Why don't you ask why he hit?" It was a question that reframed the entire conversation, shifting the blame from the victim to the perpetrator. Her courageous decision to speak out had an immediate, tangible impact. Domestic violence hotline calls spiked by 21% the week she shared her story. For Gabi Garcia, a woman accustomed to measuring success in medals and championship belts, this statistic became her proudest achievement outside any competitive arena. It was proof that her personal war, fought in the public eye, was helping others find their own path to safety. Section 8. 2021 Upset. Even for a legend, the path isn't always smooth. In 2021, at a high-profile Who's Number One event, Gabi faced a moment that sent shockwaves through the grappling community. It wasn't a submission loss, but a convincing decision defeat to rising star Amanda Levy. Levy, significantly smaller, dominated the match, taking Gabi's back multiple times and threatening with deep rear naked chokes.
Feels great. My grips are a little shot, but it feels really great. Yeah, so I had a feeling she was gonna sit guard because I watched I think it was her last match and she sat guard. So I kind of just went over grabbing that one leg and trying to start to put it over her head so she would expose her back. My whole game plan for everyone usually is to get to their back, but specifically for Gabi, I really wanted to get to her back.
Then later that year at the IBJJF World Championships, the unthinkable happened. Gabi suffered her first submission loss at black belt. Yara Suarez secured the tap with a choke, a moment many had been waiting for, a chance to finally see the seemingly invincible Gabi brought down. The internet, unforgiving as always, declared, "The giant has fallen." Following this big deception, Gabi announced a significant shift in her career. She was done with IBJJF gi competition. It wasn't a retirement from the sport, but a pivot, a recognition that her purpose had evolved. Section 9, the CJI legacy and the cost of controversy. The rivalry with grappling humorist Craig Jones had been building online, but Gabi, in a move that defined her career, flipped the script. She transformed the online trolling into a real-world challenge with a cause. Any weight, any rules, loser donates to a domestic violence shelter. This unique showdown culminated in an intergender superfight at the inaugural Craig Jones Invitational in August 2024. Billed at nearly 300 pounds, Garcia's strategy was clear: use her overwhelming size and aggressive pressure. She dictated the pace with heavy body locks, but Jones weathered the storm, created openings, and ultimately secured a submission. The match, however, was just the beginning. The real drama unfolded afterward. First, rival grappler Gordon Ryan accused the event of corruption, prompting a sharp rebuke from Garcia, who blasted his comments as selfish and bitter. But the biggest bombshell was deeply personal. In a raw, emotional post-fight speech, Garcia revealed the true cost of her participation, a coveted induction into the ADCC Hall of Fame. From the schoolyard outcast to a global icon, Gabi Garcia's journey has never been about following the script. It's been about tearing it up and writing her own. And her story is far from over. On October 17th, 2025, she'll step into a new kind of arena at the Fight Circus, Sabotage event in Las Vegas. While her specific challenge inside a promotion known for its chaotic and bizarre matchups is still a mystery, one thing is certain: the girl once shamed for her size will once again command the world's attention. What part of Gabi's fight for redemption resonated with you the most? Let us know in the comments, and for more stories that defy the odds, make sure you subscribe.